I read. I remember mentally narrating it in 3rd grade. She walks to her locker. At this new school, they have locks, and she struggles to remember her combination. There were no panthers, no blinding scarlet fever like Laura, not even any incidents with egg in my hair like Ramona. By 9 years old, I doubted I'd ever have any real stories, any interesting, book-worthy ones like Laura or Ramona. So I started writing about cows living on Mars and girls with mysterious ailments in space prisons. Someday, when we made it to space, the final frontier, as they said on Star Trek, then life would be worth documenting again. But the present, the age I was living in, the life of this little brown-haired girl? Nah. Secretly, though, I kept hoping. I thought, maybe when I'm a teenager, things will pick up, get interesting, and real. At 10, I fought my brother for control of the TV whenever PBS aired new episodes of Degrassi Junior High. I idolized Spike. I could tell from her eyebrows she had been a brown-haired girl until she bleached that hair and sculpted it into those spikes that provided her with the coolest nickname. "Can I bleach my hair?" I asked my mother, who had only recently allowed me to get my ears pierced. "Can I shave half of it?" The answer was no, of course. No, with a smile, because she knew I wasn't really serious. Not when I was still trying so hard to fit in with the popular crowd at school. When I asked for a blonde streak in my hair at 15, she immediately gave permission, provided that I paid for it. But at 10 and 11, all I could do was gel my bangs into little points like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice. I never left the house like that, though, and not because my mom told me I couldn't. In 5th and 6th grades, I was still torn between the paths I saw toward a storied life. There was Spike, who had a baby in 8th grade with a guy who jumped off a bridge while doing acid. And then there was Brenda on Beverly Hills 90210, a brown-haired girl from the Midwest who moved to California, made a lot of rich blonde friends, and fell in love with a brooding surfer/motorcycle rider who looked like James Dean. I could be an outsider or an insider. Or, I supposed, I could be an insider who is really an outsider and burns it all down with another brooding motorcycle-riding rebel-without-a-cause boyfriend like Winona Ryder in Heathers. By 13, though, I was just the outsider with a couple of complicated friendships and an unrequited crush on the tall, dark-haired boy in my gym class who wore a Sex Pistols shirt and was actually nice to me. I was also still the voracious reader. The same girl who documented her trips to the library in her Beezus and Ramona diary with great zeal and won every summer reading challenge because she was either reading mysteries by the side of the public pool or holed up in her parents' air-conditioned bedroom with the books she pulled off their shelves: Shakespeare, Stephen King, and Leslie Marmon Silko, all of which she was probably too young for, but no one in her house believed in putting restrictions on reading. In 8th grade, English class was always the best part of my day. Everything we read that year was amazing and seemed to speak to my soul. The Outsiders, Lord of the Flies, Romeo and Juliet, and above all else, our poetry unit, which gave me my new literary heroine, Sylvia Plath. I knew that Sylvia had killed herself. Our teacher told us right off the bat. But that only made me idolize her more. Her words hadn't saved her. They'd just kept her alive long enough to tell her story and write some searingly beautiful poems so the world that had been too cruel to keep her would never be able to forget her. That, I felt, was something to strive for. As a 13-year-old who had already started taking out her feelings on her own skin with safety pins and razor blades, it seemed like the best possible hope I had. I started writing poetry. It wasn't good, yet, I thought, but it was real. And it seemed even safer than journaling. I could lay my feelings bare.